In this video, we're going to do some simple and compound interest practice problems. So this comes from the earlier sheet we worked on with the tables, so you can refer back to that for the formulas if you want. It's good practice to write the formula every time. That's part of the scoring rubric when I grade as well. So even if you're not exactly sure how to crunch all the numbers, you can get some points for writing the right formula, putting down some of the variables and labeling them. So in this one, we have Tika invests $6,000 in the bank at a rate of 4% for 10 years. How much interest will he make? So we have some key things. We have the principal is $6,000, so that's our initial investment. Our rate is 4%, so we always want to put that as a decimal, 0.04. Our time is 10 years. And for simple interest, time is always in years. For all these problems that we'll do, time is in years. It does not say anything about it being compounded, so we're going to say that is a simple interest problem. We are trying to just find out how much interest. So the interest equals question mark. So we can just jump right to this formula here, I equals PRT, and go ahead and fill everything in. So I'm just going to set you up for these to start with, and you can then pause the video and go back and try them. Actually, if you want to pause now and try to do all of these that you can, and then check back and check the setup first, I'll show you all of those. And then you can move on and crunch the numbers. One thing I do want to just skip up really quick to number 4 and show you a little difference in the wording. What is the future amount of $22,000 invested for 7 years at 12% compounded yearly? Okay, or annually it might say. So this is our principal is $22,000. Our time is 7 years, but remember this time we're calling it N. And then our rate is 12%, so 0.12, and it's compounded yearly. So we have a K value, which is the number of times it's compounded in 1 year. So every year that would be just one time. And then you can use the formula. We're trying to find the future amount, which is that P sub N. And here is the formula for this one. P sub N equals P times quantity 1 plus R divided by K raised to the NK. Now in this case, K is 1, so you really don't need to have it there, but it's good practice to put it in there so when you're looking back and you note what your process was, you have a good example. So now go ahead and pause and you can start filling in the information for all the problems. At least just start them and then check and then crunch the numbers. So hopefully setting up the problems went okay for you. If you got stuck on that, I'll go through it quickly now. Jojo invests $5,845 in the stock market over 3 years. She has this invested. She gets an average return of 6.2%. How much will her investment be worth after the 3 years? Okay, so this is our principal, the $5,845. The rate is 0.6. Sorry, let's rewrite that. 0.062. I'm going to move 2 places left. And how much will the investment be worth after 3 years? So that is going to be my time is 3. And I'm trying to find the end amount. and this is going to be simple interest. So if I'm trying to find end amount, I want to just jump right here to the A formula. A equals P times 1 plus RT. And that's it. No exponent on the simple interest. So simple interest. Number 3, Sanjay gets a student loan to go to college after high school. If he pays $1,050 in interest at a rate of 4%, what was the original amount of the loan? So this is a little bit different. So this is the interest is what we're given here. And the rate is 4%, so that's 0.04. The original amount is what we're trying to find. So principal equals question mark. The time is not written here, so we're going to assume 1 year. And this is a simple interest. So the formula we would use would be I equals PRT, but we're going to solve, this time we're going to solve for P instead of I. So do that when you crunch the numbers. We already did number 4. Number 5, what is the future amount, or the P sub n here, of $22,000. Again, same principle for 7 years, same time, and this is on purpose. R equals the same rate, 0.12, compounded quarterly this time. So my K is going to be 4. So it's every quarter. So it might be worded something like every 3 months, but you wouldn't want to use 3 because remember it's the number of times compounded. So every quarter would be 4. That equates to every 3 months. And you are going to use the same formula. So you don't necessarily need to rewrite that every time. As long as you have it there, you can kind of direct using the same formula. Again, for number 6, same kind of info. Trying to find the future amount. We have the same principle, same time, rate, but this time it's compounded monthly. So you're going to be doing that 12 times a year, every month. So go ahead and plug everything in and crunch the numbers, and then you pause the video to do that, and then check against mine. Okay, so hopefully that went okay and you were able to work out the problems and get these answers. If not, I'll go through them really briefly. So you will be getting full lessons on these. This is just a little introduction, helping you to do some of the plugging in and crunching numbers, following order of operations, and of course using a calculator, but you're going to write out what you're putting into the calculator so that I can see how that went. So for the simple interest, you just multiply the 6,000 times 0.04 times 10 and get 2,400. If you have some context to the problem, write it in a sentence. That's usually part of your directions. For number 2, it's going to be a little bit different. You need to follow order of operations and do the 1 plus 0.062 times 3 has to happen. The 0.062 times 3 has to happen first, then add your 1. So you're going to end up with A equals 5,845 times 1.186, multiply that out, and you will get $6,932.17 over the 3 years. That will be the actual end amount, not just the interest, where this one above is $2,400 in interest on top of the $6,000, making it be $8,400 altogether, which you weren't asked to find. But if you did need to know that, you could just add those together. For number 3, we just assumed a 1-year loan because it wasn't put in here. So it ends up being quite a bit of money in interest over that year. So, but if it were over a longer period of time with this same value, it would come out, he'd have to owe more on top of the loan amount. So this one is 1,050 equals P times 0.04 times 1. And then we just divide both sides by 0.04, get 26,250. That was the original amount. Okay, and the next one, we have number 4. What's the future value of 22,000 invested for 7 years at 12% compounded yearly? We're going to fill everything in here. 22,000 times quantity, 1 plus 0.12 over 1 raised to the 7 times 1. Make sure if you're typing into a calculator that you use parentheses there for the exponent. And I'm going to crunch all the numbers, and I get $48,634.99. Notice here where I put the 3 dots, that means I did not round. I just left it in my calculator and multiplied. The next one is very similar. It's just replacing the 1 with 4 because it's quarterly. So the answer I get for that is $50,334.41. Now the last one here for number 6 is compounded monthly. I'm going to show you that one out on Desmos and how I type it into the calculator so that you can check against that. Okay, so first I would take this, what's inside the parentheses here. I'm going to use the parentheses, 1 plus, and then I use my fraction, 0.12. Look. My fraction key, 0.12 over 12, and then I have to arrow over and use the close parentheses. Now this parenthesis did not come out in the right spot, so I need to get rid of that. Then I'm going to use my exponent key here. Make sure you don't hit the squared one. You want to use the exponent. And then I'm going to put parentheses again, 7 times 12. It's really important. Then you can see here 2.306 and so on and so forth. I'm going to leave that right there and hit answer. So that shows up again. That's held in the memory. Regular calculators have that as well. And then I'm going to hit times 22,000. I don't want to round as I go. If it's hard for you to write, to just keep it all in the calculator, then go ahead and, write some down with the dots like I did, but make sure when you retype it in, if you retype it in, type out at least like 4 to 6 places. And my answer for this is $50,747.90. And that is it for all the answers that you have there, and have a great day. I hope that was helpful.